I'm Ray Couture, and this is Astrological Perspectives. Here we are, halfway through 2018, and we still have a President Trump. Well, there are reasons for that, and one of them is the presence of Uranus in Taurus. One of the things we have to understand about astrological symbols and astrological energies is that you have free will. You can use it for positive or negative. The entrance of Uranus into Taurus brings a revolution of values. And the Trump administration and Trump himself is actually killing the revolution of values that we gave birth to in 1776. But we who know that Uranus represents the spiritual unity of all life know that a positive transformation in values are possible if the people take on that task and they do it soon. So for now, let's take a look at July 2018. The chart for July 2018 has a Cancer sun and rising, and the moon is in Aquarius. Cancer is a water sign and the source of the capacity to feel emotionally and have increased sensitivity. It is not prone to display emotion, so feelings are somewhat contained and tender. This factor will play an important role this month because the moon, which has a deep affinity with Cancer, is in Aquarius, the sign of revolt and reform. This moon is found in the 8th house and reinvigorates the desire for real change. But the cusp or nature of that house is Capricorn, so we can be sure that efforts will be made to stifle all calls for significant change. Our attention will likely be diverted by foreign policy concerns. However, all of this will mark the watershed ending of a 19-year period of domestic decay, which began with September 11, 2001. It's also the start of a new cycle, this one involving the need for a new, more caring approach to how we behave in the world. It is this July 12th solar eclipse in Cancer that has been signaling that we must end our paranoid view, which has caused a horrific disruption of lives and the building of concentration camps for immigrants and children. Immigrants who ask only that we live up to our founding values. The cruelty and insensitive incarcerating of children is what this eclipse in Cancer has pointed out in very stark terms. We lost our soul in 2001, and now it's hardening our immigration policies even further. The first planet to rise after the sun is Mercury, which values a debate and discussion of our validity, and ends with Uranus, the planet which invites us to transform our values in Taurus. Bottom line is a Congress in a state of confusion and disarray because their dreamy Neptune in Pisces is the most elevated planet. The awakened Neptune calls for unconditional passion, and the egoic Neptune brings nothing but guilt and a tangled quagmire. The negative is most likely the choice of the status quo. If you know your moon and your rising signs, so listen to them too, would you please? Your rising refers to the quality and meaning of the path you are on in life. The moon refers essentially to ego and how life is likely to unfold over time. It is also important to realize that you do have free will and you can choose how to use these energies. It is also important to know the differences. Self-centered egoic responses very often are not enough because often these days we must seek an awakened use of these energies. The ego can hijack even spiritual goals, but the awakened spirit can see things through a unified, more spiritual lens. Aries, you feel the need to transform your thinking and develop a more spiritual kind of personal research. This awakened view will show you the need to restructure your understanding of primary relationships. The egoic motivation for this comes from past hurts, which affect the present. Taurus. Uranus in your sign begins its transformative work, integrating your life within something much greater than yourself. Relationships of all kinds are now the arena of awakened self-discovery. Ego shivers with guilt feelings over past failures to adapt to new conditions. Genuine change has begun, and a new beginning is yours to act upon. Gemini. You are at the point of transcendence and need to investigate what overall adjustments are needed. Strengthen your relationships by rebuilding your ability to maintain your commitments. Use more of your awakened intellectual capacity to eliminate conflicts and arguments. Cancer. Ensure security and independence as your values and resources are in the process of transformation. Your relationship is under egoic pressure and needs some adjustments to cope with an awakening to a new reality. The eclipse is in your sign and ends an 18 to 20-year cycle while beginning a new period of growth in your sense of validity. Leo. Lingering family issues are egoic remains, so digging deeper into the possibility of a spiritual awakening may help clear the air. Some restructuring requires serious adjustments in your work ethic or situation. Some changes in your career involve intimate relations and business interests alike. Virgo. Reclaiming your power is the underlying theme for you. Community involvement means assisting those in need and those who need you in particular. Sidestep egoic insecurities and elevate your view to a more spiritual one so that you can see the truth of your situation. Libra. There may be some need to redirect your resources toward more beneficial goals. Changes in your career and work situation really need your attention. Adjusting realities now requires a more awakened and somewhat less egoic view of self. What is happening now is a balancing of accounts and a potential healing of past hurts. Scorpio. Finding a new, more uplifting sense of self means sidetracking egoic considerations and going for the gold, spiritual knowledge. Work issues challenge your self-esteem and may involve actually moving to another location. Finding where you belong thus begins anew. Sagittarius. Take your place as a leader and truth teller. Keep clear about the underlying decay of social structures and help people steer clear of isolation and stagnation. Your leadership and creative approaches are necessary if you want to inspire others to their personal best. Express your authentic views on change and social validity. Capricorn. You are focused on knowing strengths and weaknesses. Capricorn is also aligned with the idea of social structures, which are decaying and less dependable. It would be short-sighted to not seriously consider the social and spiritual consequences of ignoring this. Express your authentic views on change and social validity. Aquarius. Change, is more than just rearranging the room or taking your vacation somewhere different. It all boils down to the difference between being in control of your life and the desperate need to control others. When you are not a part of something you think is important, you compensate by dictating how others should value you. Pisces, the challenge for you is to integrate your authentic voice into the mix of social discourse. Some attacks on your value make it essential that you embrace the less egoic responses and lead others toward higher and more spiritual values and ways of social behavior. So I turn now to the social political arena because I believe it's essential if we are to understand the depth of transformation that we face as a nation. With the solar eclipse in Cancer this month, the horror of child incarceration will turn to the tragedy of family incarceration. This is a national and international crisis that strikes at our core values. The chart of the United States shows Pluto, which represents the removal of oppressive conditions, at 27 degrees of Capricorn in the 9th house of foreign matters and higher consciousness. Europeans were foreigners to the natives of this continent and were never able to rid themselves of colonial mentality and racism. The promises of the American Revolution included life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Looking at where Pluto is today, now at 20 degrees of Capricorn, we can see that much of that revolutionary promise seems either abandoned or under siege. Pluto takes 248 years to circle the sun. Of course, from the Earth it seems even longer because of where we begin in our national gene set. As that cycle draws to a close, it shows us that what we have still to accomplish is still possible, but it also shows where we have failed. The moon this month is sitting pretty much on the moon of the United States chart, offering a not so subtle hint that the people need to exercise their constitutional authority over corrupt leadership. The 4 degrees of separation between the transiting moon and the natal moon of the U.S. chart says that in 4 months, November if you will, the people must make their choice and be heard. We and the world are experiencing a crisis of the spirit. We have to acknowledge that we have strayed from our birth purpose as a nation. The upcoming eclipse in August will require us as a people to begin the process of regaining control of our nation's destiny and reclaiming our rightful and authentic voice as a people. It is and always has been a revolution of the spirit, so less ego, more service to help awaken us to our destiny as a species and not just as Americans. That cloistered sense of home that Cancer represents must move from home to planet Earth, our true and only home in this vast cosmos. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you're interested in getting a reading from me, please write to me at astroray@gmail.com. I'm Ray Couture, and this is Astrological Perspectives.